Morning, folks. Disco King here, and got some more subjects to talk about today. One thing I want to let you guys know is I probably confuse the hell out of you because you're always trying to figure out what political side I'm on. And I've said this in many past videos, but we'll just go over it again. You know, have you guys ever taken these political tests to see where you fall on the spectrum? They're like 8 pages long. And mine always pretty much puts me right in the middle, okay? The problem is I agree with some things from either side. I incredibly disagree with many things on both sides. And this is kind of where I think we need to start the Disco King party. It's kind of like a common sense party. I'm not going to get pushed around by people on either side trying to make me think that I need to follow their plan or their idea. And so if you watch the Disco King News, you're going to see my honest thoughts. And I actually think they're common sense. But some people are so far to the edges, to the extremes of these parties, that they can't see anything. And maybe that's why this show is here. You ever see this here in my eye? What the heck? Anyhow, so it doesn't matter if the governor's Democrat or Republican or if the president's Democrat or Republican. If they do something that pisses off the Disco King, I am going to talk about it. And that might not make you happy. And we're not living in communist China, okay? So I'm here to let you know the truth. And if I see stupid things being said, I'm definitely going to point them out. You know, I watch these press conferences every single day. And the reason I do is because the news will report a 10 seconds, 15 second snippet of a 2-hour conference. And during that 15 seconds, the news will put their own spin on it and make a whole subject that doesn't really exist. And it happens on Fox, it happens on NBC, it happens on CBS, you name it, ABC, BBC, they all do it. So that's why I watch the press conferences, because I want to hear for myself what's going on. And some of the things that are being said, I can't even fathom. And I'm not a doctor, but yesterday, I just can't believe Trump said this. He talked about injecting disinfectants into your body to kill the virus. I mean, what the hell's going on here, man? So today, Lysol comes out with a statement that you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't drink Lysol. I just can't believe Lysol had to come out and say something. So, what do you guys think about the Packers picking up another QB last night? I know they need a lot of help in other positions, but I also think that we needed to do something to put some fire under Rodgers' ass. Since he signed his gazillion-dollar contract, he's kind of been a flop. We know one thing for sure. He's not Favre. He gets injured easily. I mean, if the wind blows out of the northeast, he'll probably break his shoulder. So we need to get somebody ready. And maybe this somebody will put a little fire in his pants and make him think time's limited. Maybe it's just the little fire we need to get Rodgers to get something done here. That's just my thought. A couple things I want to talk, some more cancellations coming up. Sturgis is talking about canceling their biker rally in mid-August. And so let's talk about this. It's a really good thing to talk about. You know, when you think of, when I think of badass people, I instantly think of the military. Because I was in the military, and the most badass people are in the military. A lot of those guys end up, being bikers down the road. So you think about badass group of people that aren't afraid of anything. I would say bikers, right? They're not afraid of catching a disease. Are you kidding me? But they're also probably common sense, I guess, because they're talking about canceling Sturgis in mid-August. So I guess we could take that and really look at what's going on, which the Disco King told you guys back in February summer was going to be canceled. You guys thought I was nuts. Now we're talking about Sturgis possibly being canceled in mid-August. Do you know that the biggest Irish festival in the entire world happens in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in August? They canceled it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why things are being canceled. And a lot of it has to do with liability and lawsuits, which I've been talking about for months. But one concerning thing I want to talk about, and this really bothers me. I'm noticing in the political party itself, there's infighting going on, and infighting is fracturing a party. And I'm going to talk about, I had two nurses get in a fight on my Facebook page, and it got so bad that I had to pull my post. Basically, this was one nurse that was dealing with COVID in a city hospital, and another nurse out in the country that has no patients. They have totally different ideas about what's going on, and their political opinions are trumping their nurse opinions. And what's really scaring me is it's happening with doctors. And I'm seeing it on both sides. Doctors are actually making videos, putting them on the internet, on Facebook, and they're slanting people's opinions. And some of these doctors are actually dealing with COVID patients, some are not. Some are through the curve, some are going into the curve. Some are Republicans, some are Democrats. What you're seeing is their political opinion is trumping their medical opinion. Not only that, it depends on where they live, on what their opinion is about. And to me, it's some pretty scary stuff. But I want to talk about, we've talked about this and I've beat this to death, but I need to go back into it because now news articles are first starting to come out what the Disco King talked about a few weeks ago. Why can't we go back to sporting events for our kids in the summer? And here's what I'm going to talk about. Lawsuits. In the Insurance Journal, it's reported that there's impending growth of possible lawsuits and lawsuits that are starting. And if you do anything with your kid and put them into a sporting event, and that kid comes home and infects grandma and she dies, your organization is done. You're going to see, you know how we always watch these attorneys, ambulance chaser guys on TV? Everything you see is going to be, have you been exposed to COVID? And when the nation and the world is involved in a pandemic, those lawyers have all the evidence they need. You're done. You are toast. So one of the things I want to talk about is Hartford, Wisconsin decided to let their businesses reopen against the governor's orders. Now, Georgia also opened up, I think they opened up today, against the presidential orders. Now, when the President of the United States says, I disagree with what's happening in Georgia, that attorney is going to bring that up in court. So, if you have a business, Jimmy Sub Shop, somebody comes in, they get exposed to coronavirus, they don't have to die, they just have to get sick. You better call your liability insurance company and make sure that they will defend you if you open your business during a pandemic. Because I guarantee you they won't. These insurance companies don't want to go out of business. And they will go out of business. There's going to be so many lawsuits over this. And if you don't believe me, the lawsuits have already started. Walmart is getting sued by its employees already because people have gotten exposed. There's been an employee at Walmart that died, so now the estate, the family, is suing Walmart, and I guarantee you they will win. They will win. There is no way that you can defend yourself against these lawsuits. Carnival's being sued by its stockholders because its stock went down so far. Carnival stock is worthless. You guys, that's gonna be a penny stock pretty soon. So let's say you have a summer school, a business you open, some kind of sports. If anybody gets exposed to the virus at your establishment, you are done. And I don't care if your business is 100 years old, you are done. You know, one of the things that really pisses me off about liability insurance in Wisconsin is for way too long we've let lobbyists go in and influence people. And the thing, lawsuits that need to happen, I think that actually will make us safer, can't happen. So let's say you have a hip surgery that is drastically screwed up and ruins your entire life. You can't sue your surgeon. Not in Wisconsin. In New York you can. Many other states you can. In Wisconsin you can't. They've set it up. First off, there's a fund that has more money in it than any attorney in Wisconsin has to fight it. The attorneys themselves will not take on a lawsuit against a surgeon in Wisconsin. That is why you see on TV all these liability lawsuits. Have you been injured? Have you been hurt? Because you can sue anybody in Wisconsin besides a surgeon. You can sue if I go, let's say if I go to swimming lessons today and I get the coronavirus, I can sue the YMCA. But I can't sue a surgeon. Think about that, and that's what's wrong with this state and how our lobbyists have ruined things. It lets them get away with murder, literally murder. They can kill somebody and not get sued. There's a cap, a $100,000 cap on medical malpractice in Wisconsin. But if somebody runs over my toe on the street, I can sue them for $1 million. I can go on and on and on about this, and I'm just going to leave it right there. Nursing homes are getting sued. If your relative gets COVID in a nursing home, you can sue the nursing home. You're going to see nursing homes go out of business over this. There's a Chicago nurse that was fired because she said they didn't have enough protective gear. She is suing the hospital for millions of dollars. So you're going to have several different lawsuits coming out of this. There's exposure liability, which I talked about. Basically, anything you send your kids to, if they get exposed and they bring the virus back home this summer, you got yourself one hell of a lawsuit, so kick back. Product liability, you know what that is. If I buy a mask and it doesn't work, I can sue. There's medical liability, which, like I said, in Wisconsin, there's not a lot you can do about it. And securities liability, which is that's an incredible thing to think about. You can sue because your stock dropped too much. Well, if you would have listened to the Disco King a couple of months ago, I told you the stock market was going to crash. And I also told you, wait till August, kids. You're going to see the housing market and the stock market crash. So I guess those are the topics I wanted to talk about this morning. Like I said, send me good news. I can't find any out there. But man, if you guys have any, send it to me. See ya.